From the world of John Wick, Ballerina. What a mouthful for the title of a movie. It's starring Anna.
In the Marilyn Monroe movie.
The close up with the eyes.
Every time they do that look up, she has to look up.
Another movie with Keanu Reeves and Ana de Armas. The other one was way different. It was not like John Wick. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah. The world of John Wick, right? So I'm a big fan of the John Wick movies, right? I mean, the first one, the second one, and the third one. The fourth one is all right. But it gets into the realm of non-stop action for just action's sake, right? And I think we said it last time when we reviewed John Wick 4. There's overkill.
And so
right?
now we got Ballerina.
Yeah, now you get Ballerina, which is in line with John Wick 4, where it's action sequence the movie. There's really not much story, not much talking. There's a small story.
There's a
right?
story,
but it's not
worthless.
A lot of
yeah, it's a thin story.
Yeah, very, very thin, and it's non-stop action, non-stop.
It's because it's a spin-off.
Even then, one after another, it's like action sequence after action sequence after action sequence. Hey, let me see a couple lines, action sequence, couple lines. I think throughout the whole movie, you probably have 20 minutes of dialogue. The rest of it is just action sequences. Right. And this is brought to us by the director of Underworld, the director of the Total Recall remake, Len Wiseman. Right. And I know that there's that whole thing where they're saying that Len Wiseman, his original cut, it tested poorly. So Chad Stahelski had to go in and redirect some of the scenes. I don't know.
Which is probably why it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Possibly. I mean, the movie does. You get Ana de Armas as what's her name? Eve, right? Eve Macaro. Eve Macaro. You have a lot of things that are connecting into the John Wick universe that don't make sense.
Yeah,
but
like
hold on, we'll get there, right? So you have Ana de Armas as Eve Macaro. You have Gabriel Byrne as a bad guy, as a cult leader bad guy. You have Maria Full of Grace. What's her name? Katrina something, right? You have her in the movie too. Another thin part. You have John Wick, Keanu Reeves in the movie. He's in it for tickets. Yeah, that's all it is.
To sell tickets.
But really, the movie is
set
carried.
Up a story, timeline.
The movie is carried by Ana de Armas. She's in majority of the movie, and it kind of there's a lot to kind of suspension of belief. There's a lot of suspension of belief here because at the beginning of the movie.
You get introduced to her as a little girl.
Yeah, you get introduced to her story. That's what they did with the story building.
By the way, that speaks perfect English with no accent. Just saying. That's not okay.
You get the gist of the story at the beginning, within the opening act of the movie, right? You get it. It's a revenge tale. Well, John Wick was a revenge tale, right?
Dad looks like John Wick in the movie, by the way.
It was played by Diego from the Umbrella Academy. That's where Dad is.
I knew he looked familiar. I was looking, going, what's up with that? But no, he looks like John Wick from the first John Wick.
You get the gist of the story. She witnesses her dad get killed by these people. And she's given a choice as a child. Do you want to join the Ruska Roma or not, right? You know, they're going to train her to be pretty much like John Wick. She's the female John Wick.
Everybody there is trained like that.
And she's like 100 pounds soaking wet. And like 5'2", so she's like Ozzy's height. But
fuck you.
You get that story. It's a revenge tale. But then after that, she's an adult. It's nonstop action. The beginning is like a whole action sequence. It's action sequence after action sequence.
She takes it on, especially with the first job she has. When she has to guard that one girl.
But she also rarely gets hurt in this movie. That's another.
No, she gets hurt.
Rarely. Compared to and I think I talked with Edgar about this, and he brought a good point. John Wick gets shot. John Wick gets stabbed. John Wick gets hurt. She doesn't get that hurt. She gets kicked. She gets beat up.
Exactly. But that's the thing is that John Wick, at least when he got hurt, he was stumbling around and he was in pain.
Well, she was
like a Terminator. She had a knife on her back, and then she just took it out and
continued on.
Yeah,
it's called adrenaline, son.
Even then, from the beginning of the movie, they said that whole fight like a girl thing, and I was like, they threw that in.
When you told me about it, it did not bother me as much.
Yeah, in the movie, you know that they put that in there because of the theme song they gave her, the Evanescence theme song, "Fight Like a Girl."
Was that
Uh,
Evanescence?
It's the girl from Evanescence, the singer from Evanescence.
Amy Lee. It's a horrible song.
Yeah, but overall, this movie is like a carbon copy of John Wick. It's meh. I had a good time with it because of just the nonstop action and the violence, but it's a really paper thin story.
There are
And
some really cool fight scenes, like
yeah,
action, like the flamethrower. I thought was cool,
and the
and
grenade
the
scene, like
grenades were cool. Yeah,
there was really good sequences.
the ice
Sir-
skating, the ice skates.
It makes you kind of think, why doesn't it happen more often? I
Mm.
mean,
because it's not
why-
always frozen. Things aren't always frozen.
It also reminded me of what's
Does
his name?
happen.
Of Happy Gilmore when
Happens on the hockey rinks.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like in Happy Gilmore when he's talking about like I try to stab a guy with my skates. I'm like, well, there you go. That's what happens. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
But man,
Yeah.
the action sequences were cool. They're not bad. There's some parts where I'm kind of going, how did her head not get melted off?
Mm.
But yeah, it's
Also some scenes where you're like, yeah, that's not her.
she has
Yeah,
thick
like the
mustache and
flamethrower. Like
everything.
there's a part where in the flamethrower scene where they're like focused on her face, and you can tell that's 100%
That's
on her.
that's too
There's a
much
dude
slow
with a
motion.
mustache.
Yeah. Like, I'm gonna get you, sucker.
Uh-huh. And then,
Awesome.
but I think one of my biggest issues, I had fun. Like the action sequence was great. I was like watching it and I was laughing. My problem is the connection to John Wick was very weak, because if this movie takes place between part 3 and part 4 of John Wick, the problem is that he was exiled from the Roma in part 3.
Mm-hmm.
How
Yeah, and
is it that
wasn't
they
he-
call him?
And wasn't
To
he
help them out.
injured and in pain?
Yeah. And why do they call him to help them out, right? To solve the whole problem.
While
right.
he's being chased by the world. by
Well,
the way.
yeah, while all this is happening, he has been exiled from the Roma,
Yeah.
right? Remember that's in the beginning of the movie when they show John Wick and she actually has a conversation with him like, "Oh, you're the Baba Yaga." Before that, they branded his back, like essentially tearing up his ticket and kicking him out of the family. He's out of the family. So why is he there? That to me didn't make sense. I knew that, like when watching, I was like,
Okay,
story-wise, timeline-wise, it doesn't make sense.
So we got Baba Yaga.
Nitpicking.
Not nitpicking. You're telling a story within the world of another story,
Yeah. No, I know.
and you're glossing over the fact that he's not
Well, because they're not
allowed in
supposed
that
to.
family.
Well, they're not really focusing too much on his story though.
But it's from
Yeah.
the world of John Wick, and the movie takes place in that universe, and it's in the timeline. They inserted Eve's story within John Wick's timeline.
Okay, but it's a movie.
No, even then, it doesn't matter. It's a movie. It's supposed to tell a story. You're telling a story now, a movie that's parallel to John Wick, right? And almost ends like the John Wick movies. Like
Right.
now,
The ending
it
bit,
has
but it's
that
just-
ending. That was my main issue. And then also when she goes up against John Wick, I get it. John Wick is John Wick. I've seen him in 4 movies and he is invincible. He is the man that cannot die. My favorite scene in this movie was his fight scene, and when they say John Wick's here, go, he's in the other room. I'm not.
It's John Wick. It's a suicide mission.
And I
Something like
love that they
But
call him
damn.
John Wick once. The rest of the time they're referring to him as the Baba Yaga.
Uh,
Right? Gabriel
Or,
Byrne refers to him as the Baba Yaga.
Jonathan.
And that's another thing. Like, how did Winston know to go there? How did, like, all that other? How did they try to connect Winston to Eve Macaro?
No, he knows all. Plus, them teeth, bro.
The final act of this movie felt like I was playing a video game. Right? You have this whole little town of cultist assassins that have been trained, and one woman, technically one woman, for the most part, takes a lot of them out. Takes a lot of them out. And then John Wick comes in. He takes a few of them out too. But like it felt like a video game nonstop. And then in the middle of that whole thing, they throw some exposition with one of the girls that's there in the town.
Yeah, that was not needed.
Like I would have
Yeah.
rather see them go head to head in a fight. I would have rather see that, like a better head to head like match. I think Ana de Armas did a good job.
She
Just
can
really-
carry a movie.
You know how some people can't pull off an action scene? She can pull it
Mhm.
off.
Yeah, she did.
oh,
It was
God, that guy.
horrible.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
like, whatever. You kick a guy on the floor.
But it doesn't really pick up until the end. And then in the beginning, it's just like carbon copy fights. I was actually bored the first hour of the movie.
Do you remember that movie Hardcore Henry? That is
Mhm.
another movie that's just nonstop action. Another paper thin story, but nonstop action. That's what this reminded me of.
That's a whole point of view movie. And every time I think of POV,
All right.
Don't.
Those eyes just looking up at you.
Yeah.
It's like, like well.
Yeah, she carries the movie, and it's a fine. Had it not been connected so much to John Wick, I would have been like, oh, they're just making another John Wick type movie. Like the Nobody's not connected to John
Atomic
Wick, and I
Blonde.
enjoyed that movie. But because of that, and you're peppering in connections to the John Wick universe just to connect this movie, I was like, okay, I didn't need that as a movie on its own. If it was just Ballerina and not connected to John Wick, take all that out. Action sequences are fun. I think the later action sequences get better, right, within the movie. The first one, her father and taking on all those dudes, I thought that was good. I enjoyed that. But after that, when it gets to the talking parts, I'm like, okay. But the action sequence is what had me hooked. I enjoyed this. Again, one of those summer blockbuster movies that you could watch if you just want to turn off your brain and just watch action for action's sake. This is one of those movies.
It reminded me of during the talking scenes. All I can think of is Bloodsport. You're not gonna call the cops. It just felt so silly with the way they talk, with random accents here and there, and it's like, I'm okay. Shoot somebody. Hey, grenade. Hey, flamethrower. Hey, stabbing. Rubber bullets. What the hell? It's
Yeah, that's kind of they underused a lot of people in this movie, right? Norman Reedus is in the movie. He's way underused
For like 5
right?
minutes.
Yeah, it's not his
And he's
movie.
out promoting the movie too.
Yeah, there's like a lot. He's way underused in this movie. Like a lot of like that girl, the Maria Full of Grace, Maria, was it Catalina Moreno, something like that? She's underused in this movie. Like a lot of people are underused. I feel like if they did have Chad Stahelski direct some of the scenes or redo some of the movie, maybe some of the story went away too. If you're gonna go watch action for action, it's fine. An okay movie just to watch action. The action sequences are good, but story wise, it's not there. It ends similar to John Wick.
She's the new John Wick.
Yeah, they literally copied the John Wick ending,
Mhm.
right? Do I recommend this movie? If you want to turn off your brain and just watch not action sequence after action sequence, yeah, I think this is something you'd want to watch.
But I would wait. There's no
this-
rush to watch this. There's no point in spending all your money.
spending $40 plus for one person. If
Damn,
you want to
that's
just an action
$40?
movie for action movie,
Yeah.
it's fine.
You should do get the AMC A-list. It works way better. It's like 20, 23, 24 bucks.
$27.
It's 27 now?
And they added now you can watch 4 movies a week.
4 movies a week.
What?
If you want to watch Ballerina 4 times in a row, you can.
That's a crazy good deal. No,
But if you guys saw From the World of John Wick, Ballerina, that's a mouthful for a title. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And on that note, this has been Vinny.
Zazie.
Man.
We'll see you guys next time.
How did them teeth though?